Morning. This is Jesuit monk William J. Plank. The time is 10:45 a.m. Monday, April 28th. And I would like to give a full Jesuit monk New York State security chaplain officer's full report. This is to my lawyer, Kevin. Kevin, I have been playing chess with a high breed of very serious criminals. There are a few Mason involved here. One of them happens to be in the sheriff's department, which it is my hopes that somebody fires. Since I last seen you, I was trying to take legal action, but for the record, I had fled under gun threat to Wellsville, New York from Hartsville. When I got here, I didn't even have this place unpacked. In fact, this house was condemned, and I was doing the fastest carpentry I could, wiring, plumbing, heating to get it livable to pass code while trying to make contact with you. As I tried to make contact with you, I kept getting death threats, and for the first 6 months here, I was under serious secret war with these outside distant relatives. Lee Woodworth, a sheriff, his old man, and whatever little group that they're using, were attacking me up on their hill. The reason they were is because 1 week, or forgive me, 2 weeks, in between 1 and 2 weeks time of moving into a home up there, just moving from Eastside Buffalo off the highway. I was trying to heal because I had gotten injured. Cut this middle finger partially off and had to have it sewed on. I was going through some healing and decided to go to school at Stratford and take a 2-year degree in construction management. So while I was going to school and healing on unemployment, I was outside. I built about I would say, I dare say, a $1,200 to $1,500 shed for Sarah. Little Sarah's dad, Otto Woodworth's house was up for rent, but it belonged to Sarah, she said. So I said, Sarah, would you like me to build you a shed? She said, sure. So I built her one. And as I did, I was working on a bicycle with my son, Isaiah, who was 12 years old. He can be questioned all you want. And while we were working on it, a girl I'd never noticed in the 2 weeks I was there come running out of the woods crying to me with Sarah chasing after her. They were both breathing hard and something really crazy was going on. I'm like, whoa, who are you? She goes, I'm Ashley, Lee Woodworth's daughter. I haven't seen you since I was a little girl, because at family reunions, you know, I never paid too much attention. I did not notice her and did not know she lived there. She has been kept in that house, hid, and didn't go out very often. And I'm like, well, who are you? She says, I'm Lee's daughter. She's bawling. I go, why are you crying? And she goes, well, my dad doesn't know I'm down here. I need help. He won't stop making me give him sex. I said, what? I almost flipped. I said, what are you talking about? I looked up at the sky. I said, oh God. I said, I just moved in here. If I try to help you, it's going to cause me, I'm going to be in a war. I'm like, your dad's a cop. I'm like, why don't you go down and report him? And you know, she just turned and made up some more conversation of like, well, he won't let me go anywhere or see anybody, and I don't know what to do. And Sarah was with her and was just kind of backing her up in what she was saying. So I said, look, I just don't want to know nothing, okay? I'm like, I just think you need to go back to your home and, you know, go down and talk to the police or something. I can't help you. So when she left, I went down and talked to Officer Bob in the Kansas City Police Department, and he looked at me and he says, William, what are you doing up there living with them? I said, I don't know. It was the only place available, and it was nice out there, and I don't know, I just decided to rent it. He says, them people are crazy up there. He's like, you're nuts. You need to get your wife and kids out of there. Them people are crazy. I said, alright, well, I can't. I'm on unemployment, I'm on a budget, and they got me pinned down up there. Pinned down meaning they had me in such a payment plan I couldn't get out of it. I was on a contract. So, I'm like, well, so I went back up there. And as this unfolds, I think somebody had tipped him off that I had reported him or something, because I started having some serious problems. I got a riding lawnmower. There was a yard king from my brother-in-law Dave Hughes, who completely redid the whole thing, and all the wires got cut, everything got took out, so I couldn't use it. And then when I went over to confront the men, I said, do you know who messed with my mower in the night? They said, well, it could have been anybody, William. Why, we'll mow your lawn for another $50 on your rent. I said, I don't want to pay another $50, okay? I bought a rider so that I could mow my own lawn. Well, don't know what to tell you. I was very upset. So I went and swapped that mower in and asked for a John Deere from my brother-in-law Dave, who gave me a John Deere to replace it. I had it out there and mowed half of the yard. And that night, went out there again, that mower got took out. I was furiously upset. So then I went downtown, parked my vehicle, went back up, and overnight again went out and noticed that someone had busted. They carefully and somehow busted out my tail light in such a way it looked like they literally took a chisel and tapped it out and then snapped the bulb, so that if I was driving and didn't notice it, I'd get pulled over. That really set me off, and I went to AutoZone, got a new back tail light to replace that. And again, things happened. And me and my wife were trying to find a new place to live. Well, then my daughter went over to their cabin, and I went over there to ask permission to put a garden in. And my daughters were made to stay outside because they had this little mean biter dog named Oliver. And the grandmother, Woodworth, she says, oh, let the kids come in. I said, no. I said, Anna, stay outside. That dog's in here. I don't want you to get bit. That woman stepped on me, says they can come in if they want to come in. She opened that door and my daughters came in. And my little daughter, sure enough, that Oliver went right for her face and tore into her face and ripped a nice half-inch gouge cut that would have torn into even more if we didn't get a hold of the dog to stop him. I was so upset I wanted to just take my pocket knife out and knife that dog. It was so freaking viciously bit into my daughter. But I just held all my anger in and walked out the door. I was so upset that night I couldn't find a place to move, didn't have enough money to get into a place, and I finally just had enough, and I called old Mrs. Woodworth up. I said, Miss Woodworth, I said, look, you guys, I'm taking you guys to court. Your dog bit my daughter's face. I said, you need to understand that Ashley, your granddaughter, came to my home in tears saying that Lee Woodworth is having intercourse with her, and she doesn't want him to, and he will not leave her alone. You need to put a stop to it. She goes, with a viciously quiet, still, sternly voice, says, you just made a big mistake, William. Click, hung the phone up. Not even 10 minutes, my wife and my children, all of a sudden these beams of light are shaking back and forth because their trucks are blazing up over the little bank, slam their vehicle in the park. Two men jump out, smash through the front door, go to grab onto me. My wife and kids go flying to the left, and I just started football plowing, boy. I plowed both of them before they could get a swing on me. I put the one in and smashed the one into the other one and drove them all back out the front door and shut the door. And Lee went down outside and had a shotgun. I was like, come on out here, you fucker. "You're fucking dead. You are dead." And then he put it back in his vehicle, and he comes back in with his old man, and I said, "Look, you two crazy son of a guns, you better not put your hands on me. I'll beat one of you to death." I happen to be a very trained combat instructor, and I didn't want no violence, but they were freaking out, threatening to kill me. Hit me in my chest, drove me backwards, and that's what got me to push them back out of the freaking house. And the old man wanted to try to drive me one, but he didn't. There's just something telling me better not do it. And my wife immediately called the troopers. The troopers came and arrested them both. Trooper Steven took a full report, asked me if I wanted to press charges. I said yes I do. He says, "William, I'm going to take care of this." Well, Steven grew up with these guys in school all his life, and he grew up with me vaguely. I was there about 3 years, Can't Steal School, and he disappeared. I never heard nothing again. But over here in Wellsville, the night attacks, I moved over here, and those night attacks that were up there were coming here, and I knew it was Lee and them. They had texted me on my phone, threatening me, said, "Look, the old man's like, I'm telling you, you go through this lawsuit, your ass is dead, boy. You don't know my family." Click. So I thought about it, and after everything I witnessed, it was kind of, I was like, man, I think my wife and kids are in danger here. So I postponed this, bringing them into justice, because I didn't really know what level these guys were going to take this. But they took my bolt killer out of my brake. They took out my brake lines, which I tried to bend back and tried to replug, and ended up wiping my truck out. I had to go to Maple City Dodge and have it completely remade and rebuilt because of these men trying to kill me. They cut my fence out here, out in my backyard. They destroyed my garden, cut both my water hoses. And I was having a real dangerous situation, because these are half-breed Native Indians, which have been here 16,000 years, and I too am Native Indian, German, Austrian, and I know how serious they can be. And I'm like, man, this is nuts. I don't want to shoot one of them. My wife would refuse to let me defend myself or stay up at night to try to. I vaguely told the cops what's going on because they really couldn't help me. So I went complaining to my dad. I went complaining to my older brother, and all of a sudden my dad's hill got attacked, where my dad is. I'm assuming my dad may have went up there and made a threat like, "Hey, leave my son alone," or so and such. I'm assuming, I don't know, because my dad's paraplegic, he's half hair, but he was an MP in the U.S. Army. So he's very brave and has a lot of pull with the Army. So I'm thinking he may have threatened them, I'm not sure. But they took everything out up there. But you've got to understand, these are cousins of mine, and Marshall and Curtis Rice had stolen a tremendous amount of money, committed a felony, and were partnered with these people. And I do believe that they're all and were conspiratorially working together to try to get rid of me. I belong to a king's line, and in the royalty powers of the Church of Rome and the royalty powers on earth, a king's line is very sacred, and I'm the next successor of my dad. And these individuals were mad at me anyway for trying to bring them to justice, because I had arrested these people, and the other family members are all trying to help out because they had committed some crimes, and together they're afraid they're all going to get caught. So now I got two different sides of the family trying to get rid of me. So it finally came down to, they framed me and tried to state that I went and attacked my dad's hill the same way I've been being attacked here and up at the other hill. And it's the same attacker doing it. I was furious. I didn't realize, I'm like, wait a minute, these guys are all working together. Oh my God. So I went to Furfurs and went to Lawyer Pierce, and Lawyer Pierce says, "William, I think you're going to destroy your family's reputation, your dad's. Let's just separate you and your dad for a year so you can better look into the situation. So I agreed to that. When I should have just went forward then, but I was still like, well, you guys don't realize these guys are trying to kill me. You think this is a game, and it's not. I've been playing chess here. So I kept that to myself and kept reporting it to the chief, the captain of the police department in Bath, Chief Dave Rouse. Dave Rouse promised me he'd pray for me, and I'm praying my butt off to Jesus, because I've done a lot of investigational work for him and for the FBI even. You know, I'm a data collector. And so I finally go to the sheriff's department to try to pull out the records of all the arrests that I made and emailed into report a crime. And here comes these two officers. One's a Roman Catholic like me, and the investigator, and the other one is a Mason. And this man is trying to mock me. This Mason's refusing to give me any data or any of the things that I reported, because that was my evidence against these individuals. And one of those individuals is Lee, the raper, who is a sheriff, part of this man's clan of sheriffs in Steuben County. So I'm trying to arrest him and bring him to justice, and they're trying to frame me and make up some cockamamie, excuse my eternal French, bullshit scam that they're all innocent and this is not gonna go through. And so now I'm ready to process them all, and I'm making my statement to you that my lawyer Kevin, this was a dog bite attack, but this was also a criminal situation where my life has been on the line quite some time now, and I finally seen enough, was denied by this sheriff's superior who's aiding and abetting him and hiding him, and now I want to bring it all to justice, and I'm hoping that you will understand this message as a lawyer, and I'm hoping maybe my Austrian kin, Germany, has never let me down. Whew. Never in my life. I come from a king's line of Germany, and I put my faith in my German honor and my native Indian brave. But this is a group that's nasty, criminal, and incestually abusive, and they need to be captured. Thank you, and Jesus richly bless you. Please, my goodness, if you men try to just walk away from this and not bring this issue to the holiness of justice, to the Pope, oh my goodness, what's the sense of even calling yourself even halfway right with power? You know, part of being a great leader is knowing how to handle power and yield it properly. These men are disgusting and don't need to be running around doing this. And I did some research and found out that they throw huge parties up there on that hill and have all kinds of drug transport going on. And a man named Bill was terribly beaten down. They got him over to a party there, got him all drunk, and they brutally beat him down and sent him to the hospital. So, huge occultic crap going on up in Woodworth Hill. These people do not deserve such a place if they're going to do such evil. Thank you. This is Chaplain William J. Plank of the Jesuit Monk Order of the Pope. In Jesus' name, God bless.